Most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from.
Welcome to the Network Show. I'm your host, Lawrence Wingate, and today we're talking to Nasya Shepard, owner of Mirakul Moments, LLC. Now, I'm not going to say too much about what she does. I'm going to let her tell it to you herself. Nasya, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How's the day going?
It's going well. I started the morning at like what 5:45, 5:30, and then I just been plugging away. Had to pull away to take a break because once I get going, I'm in the zone.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, I've been waiting for a while to have you on the show, and you do some amazing things because you have an amazing story. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, what jump started everything for Miracle Moments LLC. Let's talk about January 1989. Tell our viewers and listeners what that represents.
Ooh, okay. So January 23rd, 1989. It's the day I was born. But more importantly, that was the day I experienced my first miracle moment at birth with my esophagus and my stomach not connected. So when I was born, the doctor realized that my stomach and my esophagus wasn't connected. And so from there, they consulted with a doctor in Duke, and the next day they sent me to Duke to have my esophagus. And also, while I was at Duke, I also had heart valve surgery. So that was the day I experienced my first miracle moment at birth with my esophagus and my stomach not connected, and that is also known as esophageal atresia. So that's the day that started where we are today.
All right. So I'm sure that was a trying time, not just for you, but for your family. How were they able to cope with all these, medical terms and things that people may have never heard of before? How did your family cope with that?
So one way they coped is through prayer and through faith. As far as the terms, that's a good question. I'm gonna actually write that down because I'm actually working on a book about my life. So I
All
will
right.
actually. That's a good. Thank you. So see, I'm learning already in this. Okay, I love, but I never thought about the whole terminology part. But
Mm-hmm.
that's important too because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? And then
Right.
when somebody brings it up, especially like if you're just giving birth to a baby and then they say, oh, your baby has esophageal atresia. And then what if they didn't actually use that term? So that's
Right.
another layer that I have to dig into a little deeper. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know. So once they you know, heard of this term, were they
Mhm.
taken aback like, what is this? Or is it something that's rare to happen?
Actually, I'm still in research about that, but what I've seen from just like the past couple of years, I have noticed that some babies have been start I don't think it's like the esophageal atresia part, and I'm actually still doing research about that, so I don't know the whole percentage or anything like that.
Okay.
But well, having to be on a feeding tube, I've seen babies that have had to be on feeding tubes, and I'm like, you know what? That hits close to home, having hearing of somebody that I know or somebody that kind of in close proximity having their baby having to have a feeding tube, because I'm like, that was me, like, you know, back then, right?
Many years ago.
So yeah, many years ago. So I'm like, wow. So it does kind of pull on my heartstring because I experienced having feeding tubes. You know, in today's era, feeding tubes are not how it used to be back then.
Right.
Back then, it was like it was like a long, thick type of feeding tube. You had to pour, uh, pour milk down or liquids in. But now it's a different type of feeding tube than back then because, technology
Right.
is changing. So equipment is becoming more, I would say, friendlier to
Mm-hmm.
how it was back in the day and
Okay.
more cuter and more, dainty and things like that.
Trust me, I know what you
Um,
mean. I know what you mean.
oh yeah.
So now you've been through all that, and you've grown up as a young girl into a young lady. Where did Miracle Moments LLC start to form or take shape?
Ooh, I would say around 2000 and the late 2023, 24, maybe a little earlier than that. And to be quite honest, I think it was always in me, but I didn't have a name at that time. So I was always helping people do things, putting together events, putting together gatherings and things like that, and taking pictures. So it's like it was already in me. I just had to like really put it into like a business form. So that's when it started taking shape, like in the very beginning, probably like after high school. I
Mm,
was like, I was like the go-to in the family for different things.
right.
And I'm like, well, I already been doing this and I already got the skill. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I can just like literally, like, how some people say you can use what's in your hands. You can
Right.
literally make a business out of what's in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have our phone in our hands. Sometimes we have
Right.
paper, all that things. So that's when it started to take shit.
Okay. So now that you realize your capabilities and your talents, and you started Miracle Moments, what was your thought process as you starting to form this company and you see it start to take shape?
Mm. What was my thought process?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Funny story, right? So before we actually became an LLC, it was just a thought in my head. So I was like, this was 2024, right? So I was listening to this preacher, and I actually just came from church, and I went to Walmart, and I was listening to this preacher, and he was like, "All you may have is a name, but get started." I'm like, okay. I had already been thinking about starting a business, but by the time I turned 35, right? Literally, guys, I only had 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So um so that was one confirmation. So then that was it Monday, one of my friends, they text me, it's like, what is your year goal, right? I was like, well, I want to start my business by the time I turn 35. And they were like, what's stopping you? I'm like, I thought the process was very long, right? I'm like, and I literally only got 2 weeks till I turned 35. So, long story short, I ended up applying that. It was Martin Luther King weekend. I applied that Monday, got approved, and was official on Wednesday, the 17th. So, January 17th, 2024 is when Miracle Moments became a legit LLC.
All right. So
Yeah,
you thought it was a long process,
I
and
did.
it took people within your circle to say, "What's stopping
Mhm.
you?" And
Yeah,
you went and did it, and took you what, day or two,
48.
48 hours.
I was
Yeah.
literally at work and I looked and I had saw congratulations in my email. I was like, hold up, what's this? And it was my certificate of
Operation.
operation.
All right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh.
So now, once you seen that certificate,
Hmm.
was that the, other than your experiences and your your driving mechanisms that's
Mm-hmm.
brought you to starting this company. Once you seen that certificate, was it exciting?
I was excited. I was like, oh my Lord. I was like, God, you really made this happen. I was still in shock for probably like a day or two. I was like, oh my God, this is real, right? So I, of course, told my family, and I was still in shock. And the person that told me, he was like, what's stopping you from applying? I told them about it, and they were like, I knew you could do it. So I was like, well, and at that time, my confidence wasn't to where it is right now. I was
Right.
like really kind of self-doubting and like, well, what if this doesn't work? I only have this amount of money and to a lot to this. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to bet on yourself, right? And that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the starting amazing bets that I took on myself was applying for that.
Okay. So now somebody nudge you along to file the paperwork.
Yes.
Now somebody's nudge you along to continue to do it, where they recognize your talents, where you
Yeah.
didn't recognize it. You knew you had it, but now you realize, oh, a lot of people see what I can do, what my
Mhm.
capabilities are. So from there, once you recognize that, what was your next step? Did you just
So my
take off?
Actually no. So my next step was 2000 and what's we in 2026. Oh yeah.
Yes.
2020. The beginning of last year, I'm in a community. It's called the Women into Network community.
Mm-hmm.
The leader was having a beta testing class about your business and how you structure it. So when I tell you that after completing that, I think it was like 12-week class or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I that was the most clarity I have within my business than I had before I even started. I'm like, you know what? This literally, because at a time, like, you want to tell your story, but then again you're like, okay, you're trying to see how it actually needs to
Right.
go, right? And what one thing I did learn, like, people don't like to be, was it, how did we say it, they don't like to, you don't want to sound salesy, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
want to connect with them.
Right.
Well, I was like, okay, well, and in my mind, I'm trying to understand what that actually means without overdoing it, because sometimes I feel like I get nervous and then I just start rambling and stuff like that. So I'm like, I want to get another, I want to really understand what I'm doing, and I want to understand how I can relay this to my client and make that connection, right? So they were like, just tell your story. And
Mm-hmm.
then by doing that, and then, and to be quite transparent, I used to not really tell my story a lot.
Right.
It took my godfather to really kind of push me a little bit to do it. And, since he's no longer here, of course, I had to really get into that, like, tell my story because nobody can tell it like I can. He told it from his perspective, but, it's my story. Like, so
Right.
I'm obligated to tell people what I experienced, how it, how I got over that and how I am today. And it's just amazing to like just be here and just continue to thrive in the things that I'm supposed to be doing.
That's what I'm talking about. What I teach and tell my students is that in order for your business to make sense to other people, they
Hmm.
have to know why you are doing it.
Yeah.
And the only way they're going to know why you do it, you got to
Hmm.
tell them the story of
Yeah.
who you are and how you got to it, how you got there, you
Hmm.
know? So now, again, I'm starting to see a trend here. So you got a lot of angels in your circle.
Hmm.
A lot of people nudging you along the way, which is
Yeah.
is natural in this process, especially if people don't, if it's new to people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So now that you have your story packed down, now that you have your experience, you know, let's talk about Miracle Moments as it is today. What
Mm.
is Miracle Moments' mission and how do you apply it?
All right, so our mission is to help elevate brands, step into their voice, and just be a stepping stone for those that need assistance in their business, because not everybody understands like the branding aspect of their business and how to put it together. So that's what we do. We help even when you're starting out, we help you in like giving you that confidence of telling like and also too we relate it to how we started. We don't say, no, we don't act like we have it all together because
Right.
Lord knows I ain't got it all together. Okay. Just earlier I was having like a little meltdown but yeah, listen, that it comes with the business and that's just
Yeah.
transparency. So I told my sister I had called her and asked her a few questions. And then after I got off the phone, I was like, oh, sorry if I sounded a little snappy or stuff like that. So, but and we work together. So it's just like, transparency because we
Mm-hmm.
don't have it all together. And then that's what I want to tell other clients that I work with. It's okay if you don't have it together. That's what I'm here to help you with. So that some of the mistakes and missteps that I made, you don't have to make because I'm going to guide you through it and help you get to where you need to be.
That's what I'm talking about. Because the way I equate it to people is that pertaining to business, your
Mhm.
business plan is a document that never will be completed. It's
Mhm.
constantly growing. So therefore, if that document is growing, that means you need to grow too. You know,
Exactly.
you know, people look at mistakes as something negative, but the way I view mistakes are there are many lessons in mistakes.
Mhm.
Mistakes are educational tools that allow you to
Yep.
grow and be better than you were before the mistake.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
now that have your mission packed down and everything, what have you learned about yourself going through this process from getting that congratulations email to where you at today? Far as
Mm.
your talents, far as resources, people you didn't know knew this, what are your aha?
Ooh. Okay. One of my ahas is that I'm like the things I'm able to do are limitless. My
Mm-hmm.
talents, the skills that God has blessed me with are limitless. I can do pretty much anything, right? If I
Right,
don't know how to do it, I figure it out, okay? Um from making flyers to making music, what you want, what you
right,
need,
right,
how can I support you? But one thing that I've learned about myself is that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to because I used to view asking for help as like not a sign of weakness, but like people thinking like I don't have it like all
right,
together or I don't know how to do it. But it's not always that. It's good to allow people to help you because you never know how they're able to impact what you have going on.
right.
So because you can learn from different people, like I learned from you and different ones have learned from me. So it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah,
You're not here to just do it by yourself.
right.
And you don't have to be a people pleaser. I
This
am a
is true.
recovering people pleaser. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just know the people who know the things I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, as an individual, I want to grow, but I
Mm-hmm.
want people on my team and people on my partners and people in my circle to grow too. And I can't allow them to grow if I'm doing everything.
You're
You
right.
know. So, entrepreneurship is a team business. That's why networking is so important. That's why
Mm-hmm.
connecting with people is so important. So, with saying that, is I know we had conversations about groups that you're part of that help you out a lot. Let's talk. I'll let you pick which group you want to talk about that really helped you out.
Oh, okay. Hmm. The women into networking. That's where I really kind of started getting out of my shell because we started out on Clubhouse. So I used to come into the rooms when I was at work and I was like, I want to pitch my business, right? So I was like, no, I'm a little too shy, right? So I was like, let me just put it in the comments. So one day I got got a little bit more bolder, right? So I was like, let me press that hand so I can go on stage. Then I was on stage. I was like, oh my God, I hope they don't call me or I hope I get a client, right? But a couple times I was able to speak and it's been like growing ever since because one of the ladies, Allegra Jackson, she's the founder of the Win community. It's a really safe space for women and then men that support them to really grow and flourish. Like you don't have to have it all figured out. That's what
Right.
they're there for, to help you grow. And like we had this morning room where we're able to start our mornings, talk about our intentions for the day or the week. And that allowed us to really say what's going on, what we need help with, and how people could support us. So the WIN community has definitely aided a lot in my growth because it just provided a space for me to grow and into who I am today. And well, yeah, who I am today. So it's that's one of the communities where I said like at any point in time I'm able to give back in any type of form. I would love to do that. Like right now I'm a mentor for for our mentee program, and that's amazing. So the win community for sure, because I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot, and y'all can't get me to shut up.
So, how does it feel to finally go from um, being a caterpillar to becoming a butterfly now?
Whew. It's a little scary, but it's I like it. It's scary, but I like it, because it just allows me to lean more into my faith, to be to like just be me, right? Because I used to like really kind of play myself down for a lot, only because I am short and I used to get picked on a lot for that.
Right.
And sometimes people that don't even know me from a can of paint, they still come up with like short jokes, and I'm like, if you only knew, right? So I'm like, but that has helped me to like know that my height and where I come from or how I started my life does not define where I am today. And like just because I'm a certain height doesn't give anybody the right to feel like,
Right.
oh, you can overtalk me, you feel like you're more superior than me. No, that doesn't.
I mean, if you're comfortable, would you like to
Yeah.
mention your height just in case there's a lot of young ladies
Sure.
listening?
So y'all listen, I'm really 4'9". Sometimes I say I'm 4'11", but it's only like 2 inches, right?
But it's true because even in business,
Mm-hmm.
height matters to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're on stage and you're giving a presentation and they
Mm-hmm.
bring out that box for you to stand on,
Yeah.
to come to the mic. So that gives people a certain image of you, which
Yeah.
I never understood what height has to do with knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
experience, you
Yeah.
know. And so that is one of, other than the things you overcome when you was born to
Mm-hmm.
overcome being 4'9", what
Yeah.
are the other things that you overcome that allow you to do what you're doing today?
insecurities and self-doubt. Well, the insecurity was with the height thing pretty much.
Mm,
And then also feeling like nobody really wanted to hear what I gotta say. And mainly which stemmed from the height part, right?
mm,
Because when I was in elementary, I had my parents take me to see a growth doctor because I wasn't content at where I was because like I
mm,
said, I was getting picked on, right? So we went and saw a growth doctor and try not to get emotional on this part. So we went and saw a growth doctor and he told me the side effects of getting the shot. So basically this shot was something I would have to get every day. So I
mm.
was like, I don't like needles. I don't know about that. But then when he started saying like the side effects, I was like, no, I'm good.
Right,
Thanks. So, you know, I just, after that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to be content and just embrace all of me, all 4 9 of me, right?
right.
And just use that as, that's like one of my, I guess I'd say superpowers, right? Because
Mm,
sometimes people may think I'm really soft. I'm really loving, don't get me wrong,
right.
but also, I have some firmness in me too.
Don't try
Okay?
me.
Don't try me because I do have some firmness in me. So but that's just always like growing up, high school, middle school, sometimes, maybe a little bit of high school, elementary, middle school, high school, a little bit. That's just been like one of my biggest insecurities with my height. And I know I talked about this. Actually, you know what? To be quite honest with you, this is the second podcast that I've actually really addressed my height issue because this is something that's freeing me and allowing me to overcome even more.
Right.
Because I would like kind of shy away from that, but it's just freeing when you just address what some of your insecurities and just talk about it because you never know who else may be experiencing the same thing, right?
Right.
So yeah.
So when you talk about your insecurities, that could also inspire other people to talk
Hmm.
about theirs, whatever their insecurities are.
Yeah.
You know, that when we met and you was telling the story, you know, it kind of inspired me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
5'8". All my brothers are over 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
My father over 6 foot. Yeah,
Uh,
my son over 6 foot. So it's like, growing up, I didn't have the height, but I
mm-hmm.
had the confidence and the mouth, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that was drove me to be where I'm at today because I refuse to be denied. I refuse. If you don't see me, I'm going to make you see me,
Yeah.
you know, either through my talents, either through my
Mm-hmm.
experience, you know, but you will see me.
Yeah.
So, have you ever had an experience where somebody told you something that you had no idea? That's how they view you. Like they say, nice, I heard your story or I see what you do and it inspired me to do the things that I'm doing. You had any of those types of
Actually,
conversations?
yeah, I have. Because I go live on TikTok a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was somebody on TikTok that told me this. I can't remember verbatim, but I have had somebody say because of what you're doing, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I can't remember verbatim the whole situation, the scenario, but I can remember I have had somebody say that. And I'm like, wow. Like I have a friend that just started a business,
Mm-hmm.
and because I have a business, they started a business in the area that they enjoy doing.
So, how
So
did that make you feel?
it makes me feel good, and it makes me really feel, actually, to your point, you said, do I have, that is an example of my friend starting. So it actually makes me feel good, um to know that I can be an inspiration to somebody that even in the midst of still figuring out things myself, I'm able to inspire people. And in the season that I'm in, I really want to be as authentic, continue to be more authentic, transparent as I can, because that's the only way that I'm able to really um I guess be an inspiration, because you people want to see like what you're really experience. They don't want to see like it all put together, right? Sometimes they want to see the real, what's going on behind the scenes, like, oh,
Right.
like I said earlier, had a whole meltdown, but I was like, you know what, that's just part of life. Some days
Right.
we're gonna have meltdowns, and it's not gonna be ice cream and cake and everything else.
Hmm.
It's gonna be like broccoli, ew, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
But yeah,
it gets like that. You
yeah.
know, it just the thing is that you don't want everything to go right all the time,
Hmm.
because if it does, how can you qualify your growth?
Yeah.
How can you say, well, I started here and I'm here, this happened and this beautiful thing happened, if everything happened right all the time?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there are times where, you know, I try something. I'm one of those people. I'm going to try everything to see what works.
Yeah.
You know, and if it don't work, okay, I sit back and find out, okay, why didn't it work? Then I go try it again. Oh,
Yeah.
it worked. You know, that's a process. And in business, having processes in place is what allow you
Mhm.
to be successful to achieving your goals.
Mhm.
You know, earlier we had spoke about talents and you recognizing your talents and other people recognize your talents. And
Mhm.
there's one talent I want to talk about right now, and that's your music production talent.
Okay,
Let's talk
let's
about
talk about
Yeah, let's talk
it.
about how did that get started, and what
Okay,
type
so
of music it is, as far as AI music, right?
correct, it is
Uh,
AI music. So the way I got started, oh Lord, how did I get started? Okay, so this lady on Facebook, probably 2023, it started out with prompts, right? So she had this class where you could buy a certain amount of prompts for a certain price, and then you could get into her community. Well, I was like, okay, well, this is the new thing. Everybody's doing it. And so I was like, let me just tap in here. Let me just tap in, see what I can learn, right? Y'all, when I say I tapped in so far, I started learning music. When I say learning music, I do all types of genre, whatever type of music you can think of. It is AI generated, and like AI is here, so we have to embrace it and tap into it. A lot of people cringe when I say, well, not a lot, but some people cringe when I say it's AI generated music. But I don't know why they cringing, because listen, my music be fire. I don't know what y'all talking about.
it
And
does.
sometimes you can't even tell if it's AI or not. Like this lady I
Right.
was saying, she used one of my songs on her content. And I just inboxed her and say, oh, because I thought I was listening to my page, right? I was like, hold up, this ain't my page. So I was just, making conversation. I was like, oh, thank you for using my song. And then she was like, well, who is that singing? I was like, it's AI generated. And then she was like, "Oh, y'all better leave AI alone. It's here.
It's here.
It is
It's been
here."
around for
So we,
decades.
yeah. So embrace it. And when I say I talk about AI all day, I just start being a chatterbox.
Well, let's continue the conversation because you're heavy into AI.
Mhm.
Tell the audience, what do you do with AI and how AI helped you?
Oh, okay. So one of the things, well, I started out with AI making graphics, because you have to have a prompt to put into ChatGPT, and it'll give you this beautiful prompt depending on how you want it to look. You just tell it what you want, and if it's not right, you'll fix it. Say, please take out that, and then change it to this. You can also create logos within ChatGPT,
Right.
which is of course an AI source. One thing that's very key to know is once you do it in to make it your own work, you would have to transfer it into like a system called Canva. And then you can change the colors and things within the logo, which makes it your very own logo that you create. And you can get the ownership rights, ownership and copyrights to that. And y'all, let me tell you, like, and then also you can use AI as your personal assistant. I literally had a conversation with it earlier, telling it, like, look, this is what I got going on. I need you to help me figure this out, right? So she really did do her job. And there's like, with the song aspect, like, literally, yeah, it's just, when I talk about AI, I get like all beside myself because it is such a growing field, uh, a growing era. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, it exploded in the last year or so.
yeah, like when I talk
So,
about it, it's just a lot.
so AI, and you mentioned about AI assistants. Let's talk a little bit more about that because I know a lot of people have heard AI assistant, but they don't understand what it does and how to apply it to their business.
Okay, so with the AI assistants, there's like you can use Chat GPT and make it your agent assistant. You can say, you have to put it on the agent mode. Say, hey, you can call it Nay. I got my Nay, right? So it's like, hey, Nay, you're gonna be my assistant, and you'll help me do whatever I need to do. You'll help me remember different events. And I was like, is this understood? She was like, got it. I will be your assistant and I will handle all your tasks. So that's one form of an agent, as your assistant. Now, this other system that I have, it's a system where you it can answer your telephone. Let me rewind real quick.
Okay.
It can answer your business number, where you are getting calls while you're asleep and they're answering questions pertaining to your business. And also, it's equipped to make appointments on your behalf while you're asleep. Because I had tried it when I was in this class and I did it for my business, had people call. When I say it answered, it didn't, now the pronunciation, got to work on that, right? But it answered questions. I was like, I want to get a service with the logo. And it told me I had to go through the mapping session process. So, guys, it's amazing. I get beside myself when I talk about this. Like, you can literally do emails, you can make your website, you can do a lot of things with AI agents, right? It's just amazing. And some people sleep on AI, but don't.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you teach this?
Well, I'm getting ready to work on that. I have a master class coming up on April 20th. And then I have another master class with one of my partners where we're going to be talking about using AI in your business and the impact that it can have. So you
Okay.
can work smarter and not as hard.
Well, let's promote this. Give the information,
Yeah, so okay, so I don't have the link with me right now, but I'll be posting it on my social media.
and I will post it
Um,
here as well.
Thank you. And that's for the April 30th. We're talking about the AI impact. This is a free master class. April 30th is the free master class. And y'all, when I say we're gonna be doing live demonstrations where I talk to my AI receptionist, my AI agent, Nay, and I tell her like what I need help with, and you guys can hear how it can be beneficial to your business. And then also with Canva as well, we're going to show y'all how it really helps you in your business to where you're leveraging it and saving you some time as well.
Is this an online course or in person or both?
It'll be online. It'll be
Okay.
online. So it'll be online. You can go to, yeah, I'll get you the link because I don't want to tell y'all nothing wrong. So I'm going to get it. But y'all, when I say you don't want to miss it, we literally, let me tell you, yesterday before my cousin, my brother, my sister-in-law left, I gave them like a little master mini He Is Risen master class on AI, right? So like,
Right.
I'm like, look, when we was just start chatting, blah, 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 I was like, look, y'all, this is it.
Mm.
But yeah, and then last night on TikTok, we had another one. My live was only literally supposed to be like 30 minutes to an hour. We were on there almost 2 hours after
Mm.
our regulars, because we started talking about AI, and when you talk about AI, it's like, oh boom,
Your lives be lit. You know,
yeah,
I be
yeah.
popping in there every now and then. I'm like, okay, all right, this is what it's all about. Now I understand you have a book, a list of things that you brought with you.
Oh yes, yes,
Let's
because
talk.
I
Let's
forget
talk about.
now.
Let's talk about those things. What's first on
Okay,
your
so
list?
the first thing on the list is the master class that I'm having April 20th. So there is a general admission of $20, and then there's a VIP, so where you get the recording, but also you'll be able to pitch your business and talk about what you do. helps. So this class is learning how to turn your story into your brand, because some people, may struggle with it, just like I struggle with it. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to do it, and then of course, if you need guidance, I can help you uh, with that process as well. And
Okay.
with the VIP, you will get the replay as well. Next on the list, I mentioned the uh free master class for on April 30th. Y'all had to forgive me because I got a lot in my brain. So I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget, because I almost forgot to write it down. Okay, so also, guys, this month we do have a special for landing pages. So, well, one landing page. So you get one landing page for 175.
Mhm.
And so for this podcast, if you guys DM me the word Wingate, you get a song for 199. Okay.
All
And
right.
then also, guys, July 18th, I will be a speaker at Align and Thrive in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you guys want to come out to that, we're looking for a few more speakers and also vendors. So contact me, y'all. Oh, I had to take a breath because it's a lot on this.
All right. Take your time. Take your time. All the time you need.
Right, thank you. Also, guys, um, September 12th, I will be a speaker in Maryland. I'm so nervous, but I'm excited. I promoted this event last year, so now this year I've been asked to be a speaker. So I'm super excited. So it's called From Breakthrough to the Bank Brunch. So we're looking for lady vendors and lady speakers. Um, then also on Mother's Day, May 8th in Georgia, and then also virtual, because I'll be a virtual guest on May 8th.
Mhm.
Lord, I forgot the name of the event. It's a Mother's Day event on with the Win community. Connect with me to get more information, because y'all, I forgot it.
All right. No
Okay, and
worries.
that's true too. And then June 21st on Father's Day, we'll have our second To Be Honest game in Georgia, where I am one of the truth blazers for the game To Be Honest.
All right.
And that's pretty much it that I could jot down before the call today.
Well, I mean that's good information because people need to hear it and people need to attend because
Yeah.
there especially all on up and down the East Coast, there's a lot of events going on. Especially during the summertime. You know, so
Yes.
I suggest people to who watching this to really really connect with you because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of other stuff that you do. You know,
Yes.
so now that you are at the level that you are now with speaking gigs and events and stuff like that, what is it? What are your other goals now that you're here? What are your goals to get here now? You know.
Oh, my goals to lock in. Y'all listen. I got goals before I get 40, right? By the time I
Right.
get 40, I got goals. So I'm really locking in, to be honest with you. And working on my book, what I'm planning to do with that, somebody has suggested maybe I can do it in volume. So that's what I'm going to work on. Because, be transparent with y'all. Listen, I'm more of a listener, like an audiobook listener. So
Right.
writing a book is, mm, I've been working on it for a while, but that's okay. It's coming, guys. So stay
Good.
tuned.
Good.
Like you might get volume 1 this year. Next year you might get volume 2. But hey, it's gonna be worth the wait. Let me tell you, okay?
I do believe, or I do remember the conversation we
Uh-huh.
had that one time about taking that book and making it to a film or a series
Oh
as a film.
yes,
You know?
we did say that.
Yeah.
Y'all listen. We did. I do want, you know what? I've always wanted to do like modeling. So that's a dream of mine. And I was actually going to do it when we have our conference. So that's one of the things that is on my list that I'm going to check off, like do some modeling.
All
But
right.
because I was like kind of insecure, I was like, oh, my height, right? But I mean, hey, I can model with the best of them. Let me know.
You sure can?
Okay. I and will. Okay.
A lot of people
So
say
if
I
y'all
couldn't do
looking
what
for
I
some
do.
models, let me know.
Yeah. Look, I think, hey, as long as you alive,
Uh-huh.
nobody ain't gonna stop you.
Yes, you're right.
Do it. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know. If you
Hey,
got
I
the
got my
idea,
own.
do it.
Yes, I be like, look, in modeling, I be taking my own pictures. Like, look, I just have my own field day. Got my tripod. Some people be looking at me like, what? Yeah,
You
I
you
carry my
already got
tripod everywhere.
you already got the styles. I've seen your photos. You already
Thank
have
you.
the styles packed down. I went to modeling school. Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
know you didn't know that. I went to modeling school,
Hmm.
but I went to acting school as well. You know.
Mm.
And the thing is, if you could be a model, you could also be an actor.
Yeah,
You know.
you're right.
Like I told you that one time, don't be surprised if I tell you I got a part for you in one of
Hey,
my
I'm
films.
open. I'm
All right.
open.
All
I'm
right.
open. Like literally this year has been I've always been afraid to do different things, but this year I have stepped out of my box a lot. Like when I went to Georgia 2 times to
Mhm.
actually be a part of the group that I'm a part of, the Win community, one
Right.
of their events. And to be honest, this was a major step for me because I've always been in my comfort zone. Like, no, I don't know. But this year, look, I'm going for it. Okay. It's
Ha-
personal, right?
have you noticed the more you got out your comfort zone, the more opportunities came your way?
Actually, yes. Yeah.
Because
And
once
I'm
you start
like,
showing, okay,
no, I just be like, oh Lord, okay. Yeah, I know. You're right though.
yeah, because the more people know about you, the
Hmm.
more people connect with you.
Yeah.
Because it's not about what you do; it's about who you are. Because
Hmm.
one thing I learned in business, and my father used to tell me this:
Hmm.
people don't care what you're selling.
Yeah.
He said everybody in business have one product, and that product is you. He said if
Hmm.
you sell yourself to people and connect with people, rather they want to buy from you or not, I guarantee you they're gonna refer people to you
Yeah.
because of you. Right?
Hmm.
And I found that to be true. And to see the things you're doing online, to hear your story, and to see that you're having fun doing what you're doing, that's inspirational enough for people.
Hmm.
You know, one minute I see you, what was the one lady online, something nutrition stuff when she was checking your balance, you
Oh, the
know,
stability test.
this stuff,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And from there, the next thing you know, you're producing music, Then over here you're playing the honest game, and it's like, okay, you know, do your
And when
thing
we're
because
yeah,
you just don't do one thing.
yeah, and y'all listen, I'm a stability. I do the super patch, so
Yeah.
I'm doing the stability test. So I added another layer. So
Well,
hey,
let's talk about that.
yes,
Tell
okay.
people what that is.
So the stability. So the stability test, it tests your stability, your range of motion, and what it is, it's a super patch. It's like a QR code made for your skin, and it's no chemicals. So basically, it started out with the guy that created it. His mom
Mm-hmm.
had MS, so from her taking all these pills, they went to work, did some research, and created the super patch.
Mm-hmm.
So they have one for Liberty, which is good for your range of motions, to be stronger, inflammation, and what's that other one? I, I think those are the core. And then they
Mm-hmm.
have one for pain. It's called Freedom. So it's like instant pain relief. Um, and these patches are waterproof and they're good for 24 hours, 48 hours. Then they have one for nausea. They have one for Zen to help you be Zen.
Okay.
They have one for if you're stressed. Yeah, let me tell you. I don't have it near me, but I put on my allergy patch yesterday
Uh-huh.
and it worked really good.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I
Yeah.
like I
So,
said, not just your lives, but your whole timeline on your Facebook be lit. I like, man, okay, what she, I literally go on your page to see what you're going to do today
uh-huh.
because I know it's going to be something totally different than yesterday, and I
Yeah.
think that comes from you're pushing yourself to try new things, and
Yeah.
when you try new things, you discover new things. And I
Hmm.
think that's why you're able to do the things that you do because of all these discoveries that you're learning, not just about yourself, but connecting with a lot of other people.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. You're absolutely correct because the lady that does the patches, she was at the event that for the conference, but of course we had to reschedule the conference, but we still met and
Mm.
she still came.
All right.
And through that she was able to help other people. And she just helped me cuz I just gained another source of income cuz
That's what I'm talking about.
and then to be able to help people
Right.
not like because sometimes people don't like a lot of medicine or pills
Right.
and things like that, and this to be a alternative for that,
Mm.
and it's approved by a lot of doctors.
Right.
So when I say like I did some of my dad, let me tell you, y'all, my daddy is a character because when she did the stability test on me, I was like, oh, this can help him because he's older,
Right.
little like little he can be fall a little bit or just stumble and stuff like that, but this helps him. So I'm like, because he was like the first person that really came to mind when she did this, and I could feel feel a difference within myself.
All right.
And I was like, if this can do this for me, it can help my daddy.
Right.
And I love my daddy because I look like him, y'all, but it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That you do.
so yeah, so I'm like, if and then she was like, this is not we don't have like a what is it a person in North Carolina. So I was like, really? I was debating it for a couple weeks, y'all.
Right.
But I was like, I've seen so far how it can help people. Like yesterday, I patched like 5 people yesterday. No,
Mm.
6. 3 people at church, 3 people here at my house. And when like my cousin, she was like, well, the patch you gave me, does that deal with pain? Because ever since then, I haven't had this joint pain that I had.
All right.
I was like, no, that one was really for stability and range of motion. And I was like, wow. So yeah, like yeah.
I got you.
Some people
Uh,
may think like, look, y'all, she be doing too much, but y'all, no, I don't. I
well,
don't.
only you know what your
Yeah,
limits are.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. So,
Mhm.
before we go, how can
Mhm.
people get in contact with you?
All right. So the way you guys can get in contact with me is by Facebook at Nasya Shepard or Miracle Moments LLC, and that's Mirakul. Then also Instagram, yeah, Instagram at Miracle Moments, and then also on TikTok, y'all. Find me on TikTok at 9 p.m. If y'all find me at 9 p.m., I'm not coming on, okay? But 9 p.m. is when I normally go live, but I will do some pop-ups. I'm getting ready to start my networking rooms back on
All
TikTok
right.
where people can come and network, and because you never know how somebody can collaborate with somebody else
Right.
and make a beautiful connection.
I'll be sure to
Also,
attend.
yes, please do. Also, there's this new app, y'all. It's called Epic. I have like a love hate relationship with it. It's
All
not as
right.
fun as TikTok, but
What it's called?
guys, it's called Epic. It's
Okay.
called Epic Studios. I have to send it to you. But
Gotcha.
y'all, with these platforms, you're able to monetize, and
All right.
we talk about that later. But you can find me there, and then you can find me on LinkedIn. And then YouTube, check out my YouTube channel because I'm trying to get my subscribers up. Can y'all please subscribe? I got two
All right.
channels.
We make
It's
sure we
called
get the links out
Inspirational
there.
Music. It's
Yeah.
called Inspirational Music by Miracle Moments, and then Miracle Moments, where you can get business tips, you can get a little insight on my life, and we just have fun, right?
All
Y'all
right.
can get ready to see the cake that I made.
Any last words?
Ah, last words. If you are debating different things in your life where it can propel you to your next big moment or your next, right? Don't let fear stop you. Keep praying, stay focused, most of all. Stay focused because opportunity is here. You just have to be locked in, know who you're surrounded with, know who's in your circle. You want people that are positive or who are going to uplift you and really support you. If they say they're going to support you, they're going to support you, right? Not
Right.
just like, oh, 1 minute they say it and then they do another thing. But
Right.
you want really genuine support.
Right.
But just keep pressing. Every day is not going to be the same, but you got what it takes to keep pushing because every moment in life is your miracle moment.
That's what I'm talking about. Couldn't say it better. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to attending a lot of your events. And your lives, because like I said, they be lit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want you to have an amazing week, month,
You as
year,
well.
and we'll be connecting soon.
Okay.
So I want to say one more thing. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show here. Thank you and appreciate you so much. And have a great day. Now, you see that there are some amazing people that do some amazing things. And I need y'all to reach out to Nasya because I'm telling you, she'll get you where you need to go. All right? So until next time, enjoy.
Most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody.